Well, it's been a deadly week in Arizona as the monsoon really ramped up in its final days. We know of 4 people who have lost their lives due to flash flooding. I'm Chief Meteorologist Amber Sullins, joined today by Aaron Flores from ASU. And Aaron, we brought you in today to talk about this because a lot of your research, at least most recent research, has been based around flood deaths and why they're increasing across the country. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for
Let's
having me.
let's start with that. What are you finding in your research as to why we're seeing more flood deaths now than we did in years past?
Yeah, so there's several factors that play into this. I mean, one of the most obvious ones is climate change. And so as we see increasing intense precipitation events, as well as increased urban development, more people in harm's way, more health impacts associated with these intensified events.
Yeah, and the stat in your paper was a 25% rise in deaths from the aftermath of floods themselves, and aftermath deaths. What about those aftermath deaths? What does that include?
Yeah, so obviously, immediate deaths dominate the news coverage, such as drowning. But what our research is showing is that even 1 to 2 to 3 months after a flood event, we can still see deaths associated with these floods.
From what kind of ailments? Injuries from cleanup? What other things?
So there's obviously injuries from cleanup all the time, and that's captured in our data. But more interestingly, we're looking at heart disease, so cardiovascular disease, neuropsychiatric diseases, parasitic infections that people can contract from wastewater exposure. So a range of different health effects that haven't really comprehensively been studied before.
So, for the folks out in Globe, for example, who have been dealing with flood cleanup over the last few days, from your perspective as a researcher, what kinds of things should they be aware of in the days and weeks ahead, like the long term threats after the flood event occurs?
Yeah, of course. I think in Globe, the local officials right now are encouraging people to kind of stay out of the community while people assess the damage. It sounds like there's a lot of propane tanks that are floating and
Yeah.
could be hazardous. So I think right now the best thing is staying out of the community. But in the long term, looking out for those things like your drinking water supply, sewage overflows, perhaps affecting that, as well as, puddling water that could increase exposure to mosquitoes, for
Yeah.
instance. And so all sorts of things to be worried about.
So Globe is a, historic mining town here in Arizona, but it's, not the only place that has seen increased flooding. I mean, in a lot of cases, we've had wildfire burn scars that have led to downstream flooding in areas that typically didn't have to deal with it before those burn scars were there. But we also have an expanding population here in Arizona and across the country. So with more people, we're spreading out and we're spreading out into these flood zones as well. What kind of threats are you seeing?
Yeah, so I mean, there's some good studies out there that show urban development actually increases exposure to flooding more so than climate change, and so that is pretty alarming as we go into the future. And so the thing I advocate the most for is really up to date flood maps, and so letting people be aware of their flood risk in the U.S. That can be really difficult because flood maps, are controlled by the federal government, and that can be a slow process with community input, et cetera. And so it can be really complicated. And that may lead to people living in areas that have flood risk, but flood maps don't say that.
Yeah. And so what do you suggest people do?
Well, I suggest, looking at alternative sources of flood risk assessments. And so there's all sorts of commercial companies out there. Obviously, that's not accessible to everyone
Yeah.
who would have to pay for such data. But other companies are getting more popular with real estate companies and putting their flood risk on their websites. And so just having that awareness of, has my home ever flooded before, and what should I do in the event of a flood?
Yeah, and the whole landscape is changing. I mean, especially on the East Coast with sea level rise,
Right.
you have places now on the coast that insurance companies won't even touch anymore. We just saw a few homes washed away on the Outer Banks of North Carolina with that latest tropical system. So it's coming farther and farther inland, and people that 20, 30 years ago thought they wouldn't have to deal with this are having to deal with it.
Right, right. And flood insurance is in the US, it's only mandated in a FEMA flood zone. And so if you don't live in one of those flood zones, you may not feel inclined to purchase flood insurance, even though it's one of the main mechanisms to help you mitigate and recover from flooding.
Yeah, yeah. An interesting stat in the paper that you published worldwide, 2000 to 2015, 58 million. It went up to 86 million people living in areas that are flood prone.
Yeah, and that's going to continue. Obviously, if we continue to have urban development, continued climate change is only going to increase the health impacts that we're seeing.
Yeah. Okay, so what can be done to kind of keep us safe? Maybe if not reverse the trends in flood deaths that we're seeing, maybe if we can't accomplish that, maybe we can at least slow down the trajectory of how much of it is increasing. What can we do?
So, a lot of people would be quick to say that we should stop urban development in flood zones, and that might seem obvious, but as we saw in the study, um, over three-quarters of the country, their counties flooded before. And so we can't move people from over a quarter or three-quarters of the country. That's not realistic, and some people have ties to their community.
Yeah.
And so what we really need to do is invest in resilience and infrastructure to help protect people from flooding. And we might think of levees and dams to do that, but also incentives for people to take actions at their homes, because many of the things that they would do at their home are out of reach of their pockets because it's just so expensive.
And what are some of those home ideas?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you live. In coastal areas, it would be elevating your home above the expected flood height. In places like Arizona, it might be having a rain garden to absorb or run the rain away from your home or something
Hmm.
like that. And gutters, obviously, to have water go away from your home. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it really depends on where you're living, I think.
Okay. So we hit on this a little bit, but flooding here in Arizona is a lot different than flooding in other parts of the country. And your study highlighted a lot of different kinds of flooding.
Yeah.
Can you go through for the audience watching what those different kinds are?
Yeah. So obviously, tropical storms and hurricanes dominate the media coverage. They're very large. We can see them usually well in advance, and they generate rapid emergency response. But these smaller, more localized floods that we experience here in Arizona, they generate media coverage locally, but not necessarily nationally, and that may not generate an adequate enough emergency response. And so we really need to, increase awareness about the flooding in Arizona. It's a different type of
Yeah.
flooding that we experience here, and so just raising awareness about that type of flooding, how quickly it can happen, is important.
Yeah, because you take Friday, for example, right? We were flooded for an hour or two and then it was over and everything
Right.
started to recede. And that's far different from folks in the East or Midwest, even that deal with snowmelt flooding. And these are flood events that
Right.
last for weeks at a time. Ours is hours.
Right. Yeah. And so you have to take that into account when you're planning and preparing for flooding, right? And so
Yeah.
what preparing for flooding in Arizona looks like is going to be a lot different from them preparing for snowmelt in Utah, which experienced some rapid snowmelt a few summers ago, or in Montana.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into people's perspective of the flooding because it's so dry here for most of the year that, people don't really think it's going to be that bad when the storms hit. I think their perspective changes once a big event rolls through. But before that happens, it's kind of like, what's the worst that can happen? 300 plus days out of the year are great around here.
Yeah, and I think I'm probably guilty of that as well, even as a flood researcher. Living in Arizona, I've only been here for 3 years. It's a different type of flooding for me that I'm used to. And so I'm having to increase my awareness as well about what flooding looks like here and how to educate the people that are in our communities.
And what are some of the ways you go about that here in Arizona?
I mean, the first thing that I do is look at the all the flood maps that I can. So I'm looking at FEMA flood maps, not just the 100-year flood zone, but a
Yeah.
500-year flood zone. And so typically we focus on the 100-year flood zone, and then just looking at different websites to see where has it flooded in Arizona before, and like how can I take that into my awareness and prepare.
And from a communication standpoint, this is my job and to some extent your job through your research to communicate that to the general public can sometimes be a challenge. What are the ways that you found that are effective to communicate the threat of flooding?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way is, not going into a community with a research question, but going into a community and just really talking to them about what do they think about flooding, what do they do to mitigate it or adapt to it, if at all, and if not, raising their awareness about certain strategies that might be cost effective, but also help them protect themselves.
So what's next for you and your research team?
Yeah, I mean, so we're really interested in continuing the flooding and health. We're very interested in making this data set longer, so capturing more floods. At the moment, it really only captures very large floods, and
Hmm.
it's really hard to capture these smaller floods with satellite imagery. But also looking at other indicators such as like race. Do different races have different health outcomes associated with these different flood events, like tropical cyclones versus snowmelt? But also disability status, and how does that play into this? How does immigration status play into this? Obviously, if you're an immigrant and you're a non-English speaking person, then you might not seek local official help out of fear of certain
Right.
things. So
Yeah, and then the disability side of things, can you get out safely quick enough to escape the flood? Even during power outages,
right.
we think about all of the people that have medications that need to be refrigerated and the different things they have to do to just get through a few hours of a power outage to keep their medicines safe. So, there's a lot of layers
For
to
sure.
keeping people safe during a storm.
Yeah, and I think for the elderly population, specifically in Arizona as well, that's going to keep growing into the future. We know that. And
Right.
so it's going to be even more important to, help mobilize those people when a flood event happens. And a lot of these people are in rural areas too that are
Mhm.
very cut off from urban, access to healthcare and all these other resources.
Yeah. And well, important work you're doing. Thank you so much for joining us to talk a little bit about it today.
Yeah.
If you're watching us from home and you want to learn more about the monsoon, the flood threats, all of that is on our webpage right now, including continuing coverage as the cleanup continues in Globe after the devastating flooding there last week. Thank you so much for joining us.